Yay, Dawns ARKS! Welcome everyone to your Phantasy Star podcast recorded live on May 31st, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, PrinceBrightstar, and with me is Rooks. Go ahead and say hello.
Greetings everyone, I hope you're having a good morning.
So, we've got a big one here today. This is basically what we've been waiting on Sega for about the last year here now. It's definitely been a rough year, no question about that.
At this point, well, the Steam charts speak for themselves. We are operating at half the players we had at the beginning of the year. And in general, the player opinion of the game has soured greatly.
Yeah, definitely. And hey, Betsujin, hey, Wolfric. Yeah, and I mean, look, you guys know what my beef was back in December with what happened in the story. All we can do is hope that they're going to move past this. What happened in Chapter 6, which literally was just a filler chapter, effectively. And we're actually going to start getting things moving finally with the story now that they've really had a year to, I guess, collect their thoughts and, you know, do what they're going to do here. But just for fun today, in the upper right corner, you can see I've got a little bingo card going here. So we'll see how many of these come true today or not. This should be fun. In the past, I've done a couple of bingo cards, but I don't think I ever put them on the screen like this, and I'll leave it on the stream as well, unless it actually gets in the way of the show. At which point, you know, I'll just reveal the card at the end of the show, once Sega's stream is done. Aside from this, I mean, we know that they've split what's happening between June and July. I'm expecting at least some of this stuff on the roadmap is not going to show up, and in fact, the bottom middle space there, you can see is I've actually called out the PSO2 12th anniversary. Really, I'm really expecting that to happen in July, because if they actually push the story to July, I think a lot of people are going to revolt.
I expect them to, but I also I wouldn't be surprised with the leadership's current opinion on the importance of story in the game.
True.
Which is also why I suspect we got a lot of that nonsense going on with Ina and Manon. They still have to try to sell the characters to us, but they have to do it in such a tiny amount of story that they're just messing up the characterization to the point players don't like their characters.
Yep. Looks like their stream has gone live at this point. We're just waiting for the show to actually start here. At which point we'll bring them in. Yeah, I guess. I mean, what else can we really say at this point? We're still in the middle of the third anniversary, but I mean, yeah, there's good stuff to be gotten right now. I mean, at least log in once if you haven't done that, just so you can pick up the free rewards. But aside from that, I mean, there really isn't. I mean, okay, I'll give them credit that they have at least increased the number of quests that are coming out. They are coming out more frequently, compared to what it used to be, where I think it used to be every 2 weeks or so. Now they've at least got one coming out every week. But I mean, it's still a lot of the same FOMO we've seen in the past. You either play it or you miss it.
Yeah, they do. Half that is they don't really have content to hook players permanently, and I'm hoping that's one of the things they do eventually address here. Is that they do a general update across the game for the open world. But I also have a very strong suspicion they're going to just throw the new region in us and say, hey, that's good enough, right? That's good enough. We can quit worrying about the open world for a while, right?
Yeah, I could see them doing the same thing, yeah, whereby in the story we get there and then they just set us free. There's nothing else until like 2 or 4 months down the line, whenever the next bit of the story comes out, and maybe that's when we finally get into the Clarissa. And here we go. Oh, I'm covering Hiro's face here.
Hello everyone, it's 9 p.m. So let's get started with NGS Headline. I am Hiro Arai, the official navigator of NGS, and I will be the MC for this program. I will be bringing you the latest info on NGS. In commemoration of the 3rd anniversary of NGS,
yeah, don't you like our bribe, guys?
Super extravagant Halfa's Super Origin Festival is underway. Various campaigns are being held through June 12th, including a 10-a-day free scratch ticket where you can get luxurious gifts. If you haven't drawn this yet, make sure you don't miss out. Now, once again, this program is to inform players about the current operation and upcoming updates of Sega's online RPG, PSO2 New Genesis, also known as NGS. We will also share details about exciting campaigns, peripheral information, and discuss the present and future of NGS for our players. This is a pre-recorded broadcast. If you would like to watch it in Japanese, you can check it out on the Japanese NGS YouTube channel.
Yeah, this is all the same stuff they typically talk about here.
Let's move on to the updates you've all been waiting for. NGS Hot Information. In this episode, we would like to share some information about the June updates. Let's start with a video.
Chapter 7, okay.
We've discovered a new teleport point while exploring Lucille. It leads outside of Lucille to what we believe may be some kind of resurgent ARK space.
Thanks.
Here's Ina and Manon.
We were having a normal conversation with her when all of a sudden something changed. Out of the blue,
I
she told us that she wanted
suspected something was off with the
Research
researching ARKs.
Yep. So they don't even have a name, it's just called Nameless City.
Oh, this is a quest, not a region.
Yeah, this is looking a lot like Gridroid.
Yep. And I had a feeling we weren't going to.
Here's the new weapon series. EX?
Oh, there's a new... Okay, we have both new enemies here. But they're not the new enemy types.
Yeah. Okay. Level cap up to 90.
Didn't catch... Were they charging anything for that?
I'm not sure. We can review it again later. Oh, this is the fighter rebalance. Okay, new creative space area. I'm gonna shrink this down a bit.
I'm not seeing cast parts.
Neither am I. And remember, I have that. They don't show up twice, so this is one scratch ticket.
Why can't they have those? Can't they have those reflect the weapon they're currently carrying?
I don't know.
Wait. Yes, that's stolen. Oh, that's why. This is a
This is from Sonic Advance. No, Sonic Adventure. I'm sorry.
Sonic Adventure, yeah.
Yeah, the Tails sand surfing one. Yeah, I could have marked off the fourth down on the right if I hadn't put Phantasy Star in there.
I think they need to slow down on the AC tickets.
Would be nice, yeah. Okay, I think I can mark this one off now. At least 2 AC scratches have no cast parts.
That one's just kind of dumb.
Yeah. Oh, they forgot to take out the Japanese text at the end there.
What did you think? Let me go through the details with these slides. Let's start with this.
Best-
Chapter 7 of the story will be released on June 5th. As Lucille's research progresses, a new area is unearthed. The area referred to as Nameless City is a concrete jungle of buildings built with technology much more advanced than Halpha. Then, the protagonists are summoned by Crawford and meet Faria, who seems a bit off. A new quest type, Nameless City Exploration, will be launched in Nameless City, which players first get a look at in the story.
The fact that her eyes were glowing there, that
The
kind of
objective
goes back
is to
to
explore this unknown new
Risa
field
and Harriet.
until the end of the time limit, and to open as many
Possibly.
special item chests placed on the
I
field
half
as
wonder if she
possible
was
to
being
earn as many
possessed
rewards as
by
possible.
possibly whoever is currently
The
guiding the
exploration
arcs at
points
this
needed
point,
to
whether
open the
it's
chests
Xion,
can be
I mean not
earned by
Xion,
defeating
Xiao,
enemies or by touching unlock signs
possibly
scattered around the field.
Sierra,
Yep.
if they're still around.
Trials with lots of unlocked
That's
signs
true.
will also occur, so make full
That'd be
use of
interesting though,
objects
because
placed
if
in the field
there
for
was a
exploration
Code Abyss in
points.
play, the eyes would turn red in
However,
that case
the
though.
more exploration points you have, the lower your defense gets, and if you get incapacitated, your points get slashed in half. Be sure to balance your exploration points by opening chests to earn rewards. Many new enemies
So
will
basically,
appear in Nameless
emphasize
City,
guard
including
percentage.
powerful starless boss enemies such as Valvalon X with its massive axe, and the tiger-like Gratagull. So make sure to keep your exploration point balance in check.
I kind of wonder what the dual
Limited
enemy
time
is going to be
tasks
now.
and title tasks will also be added for
It's
this
probably
quest.
going to be one of these two.
Maybe.
Complete these tasks
seen them
to
do
get
that
your hands
before.
on N Master cubes.
Yeah, but typically they
and
don't show up in the
augment transfer pass
field
vouchers, as well as titles. In addition,
if they're in a
this
if they're a
quest will
duel.
feature the new 11-star rarity Eridim weapon series. The Eridim series can increase PP recovery amount and boost the photon blast gauge when attacking, in addition to a potential that increases the likelihood of critical hits. They will also
I wonder if
always
the new
drop with
EX
3
augment
types
thing
of
is
the new
a way
EX
to deal with the
augments
high
unique
price of
effects.
augments.
EX augments can be transferred to another weapon type by using augment transfer, which we will introduce next.
Ah,
Move around
So
your augments
only
and
EX
find your
augments can
preferred
be moved
augment
then.
setup for your playstyle. Beginning June 5th, 2 new functions will be added to the item lab that allow for the transfer of
or no, you
augments.
can transfer them all.
First, all augment transfer will transfer all augments from a material equipment item by using an N-augment transfer pass and Meseta. Augments for weapons can be transferred from one weapon to another, and augments from armor can be transferred from one armor to another, regardless of series or weapon type.
This has been needed for so long now.
The number of materials
Especially
slots
with how
of the
they
material
prioritize
item must
augments
be the
over
same
weapons
or
now.
less than the number
Yeah.
of slots for the base item. In addition, all augments will be moved to the base item after the transfer is completed, so the slots of the material equipment item will be left empty. Please note that it is not possible to select individual augments to be transferred. Please note that all augments of the material item will be overwritten onto the base item. So if the number of augments on the material item is less than on the base item, the total number of augments will be reduced. Next, with EX Augment Transfer, you can similarly transfer only the EX augments introduced earlier by consuming
Okay, so
a
regular
transfer
augments,
pass
you
and
don't need a
Meseta.
transfer pass.
These can be transferred when the base item and material item have the same number of EX augments. The EX augments of the material item used for transfer will be lost as they are transferred to the base item, and the EX augments originally on the base item will be overwritten and disappear. However, augments
So
other than
X
EX
augments don't
augments
take the
will
same-
remain
take up a
for
slot.
both base and material items.
Possibly.
We'll have to
In
see.
addition, when using a material item like the Eridim weapons introduced earlier that have EX augments from when it was dropped, it is possible to transfer all
Technically,
augments
this counts
or
as
do
something
an
not
EX
on the
augment
roadmap.
transfer to any weapon from any series without consuming the designated item. Although not mentioned in the slide, in conjunction with the addition of this feature, auto-sell drop items will be expanded to allow users to choose whether or not to automatically sell equipment with augments when
This
they
helps
drop.
with making it so that you actually hold on to items now.
Yeah.
In conjunction with this change, the specifications for selecting auto-sell items such as gold Prim swords will also be changed, so that from now on, selected items will always be sold automatically, regardless of the rarity setting of the sell conditions or the newly added augment setting. Along with the addition of the new quests, the level cap for each class will also be increased to 90. Plus, the enhancement cap for all weapons and armor will increase to plus 90, and the number of augment slots increased to 7. In addition, the fighter class will receive balance adjustments, such as adjusting potency and increasing the movement performance of some actions. New class skills with major updates to effects will also be added. There will also be a Gear Up Your Class special campaign in conjunction with this update. Stay tuned for the latter half of the broadcast for more details on the campaign. In addition, a class-specific ARKS records will be held. This time, it will be for Fleeting Fight Rank 2 for the fighter class. Test your might with the renewed fighter. If you want to participate in ARKS records for other classes,
You know, I
head
just
over
had
to the
a,
North
I just
Alien
had a,
Board, Stage 1
I don't know
field
if we
race.
want to call this a bad thought or not, but what if this isn't the only thing that's
Creative
inside the
Space
seal,
is getting a
the new
Far
city?
Eastern theme featuring cherry
They said the
blossoms
thing
and a sea
wasn't
of
in the
clouds.
seal though.
Please enjoy the new atmosphere by decorating
The
the islands
teleporter
in the sea
was
of
basically
clouds.
rerouted outside of the seal in that cutscene, didn't they say?
In addition, the new
You're
Japan
right,
build
you're right,
parts
but
series will
what
be
if there are
introduced.
other teleporters going elsewhere as well?
These build parts will allow you to construct Japanese-style buildings, so
might
purchase them with
be.
your GP and create a variety of spaces with a historical
But
feel.
yeah, this also confirms that these are not, that it
In
was
addition,
not
a special build part, the
ARC
BP
ship,
Link
unfortunately. We're
teleporter
still
will be
basically
added.
still trapped in the same system.
Register the
Yeah.
number of the creative
But
space
if
you want to go
they're
to
really
in the
going
Link
for that
teleporter,
angle, then
you can move directly to the
I'm
registered space.
I'm actually being reminded then of a game
With
on the
this
Game
build
Boy
part,
called the Final
you can
Fantasy
separate
Legend,
the inside and
also
outside of a
known as
building into different
Makai
space
Toshi
zones,
Saga
or even
in
use them
Japan.
as a portal to introduce recommended spaces to friends. You can also
not
set
familiar
them
with
to
that
an
one.
alliance space.
It's
so please use
it's
it
basically a
extensively
game
and
where
creatively.
you have to climb a tower,
Moreover,
and like every
Genesis
5
points will
levels
now
or
be
so
rewarded
inside the
for
tower, it's like
completing the
you
creative
go to
space
an entirely
limited-time
different
tasks.
world and solve the issues of that world, and then you go up another 5 flights and
Utilize these
solve
points
things in
to
another
renovate
world.
your own creative space or that of your
That
alliance.
sounds familiar to certain.
We also have new
Oh, boy.
features and elements on the way that will make things
We'll
more
see.
convenient for you. First, we'll be adding a setting to the vital gauge designs that allows you to hide the HP PP gauge.
Oh, that is so stupid. That's why I'm
Use
biting
this
so many
setting to
people
see
on that.
more of the vital gauge design artwork. It does make it more difficult to keep track of your status,
This
so
is
it's
a
recommended
really
to
dumb
have this
idea.
gauge
This is
displayed
going to
if
bite
you're
so many
heading into
players on the
combat.
ass.
Yeah.
Note that this setting has no impact on the display of your party's members' HP PP gauges.
So it's
nor
only your
on
own.
how you appear to other party members. Next, the game will remember the last page you opened in item details. You can continuously refer back to the same page without having to find it again each time in the item list or prize list. This will be useful when checking items that have a preview on the second page, such as stamps, or when checking new scratch ticket prizes. In addition, items with expiration dates will be prioritized in the default sorting
So
of
far,
the
you're
other
not
category
impressing
in the
very
inventory.
much, NGS. This is.
You can use this to make
I'm
sure
afraid
you
you're going to
remember
see
to
the
use
player count
items with
still drop
expiration
after
dates.
this.
Faria and Zephyr
Yeah,
are being added to ARKS ID backdrops.
I mean, the new feel at least
They will be unlocked after earning a certain number of title
is a
points,
start,
so
but
start
we gotta see
snagging
how it
those
actually
up now.
plays first.
And, as requested, we will be further expanding the premium slots for looks. We're adding 20 new slots, meaning premium users can now have up to 50 looks. That's enough to put on your own fashion show.
And there's the game's emphasis on
Next up
fashion
is
now.
the new AC scratch ticket, Bridal Fantasia. Fantasy adventure wear and wedding dress motifs are walking down the aisle. The scratch count bonus features alternative versions of the Idol and Dash Airsoft EX motion change items included in the scratch ticket prizes. Starting June 12th, put on your running shoes and try out the new limited time quest, Special Training Sand Road Sprint, commemorating Sonic's birthday. Roll around at the speed of sound in the Retum region, grabbing the rings and Chaos Emeralds.
You
along
use
the
that
course
line and
to
you're
earn
not gonna have
extra
us
quest
do it in the
points.
city?
The more
You know,
points
the
you
new
earn,
field?
the more you enhance your abilities.
Yep.
Reach maximum enhancement and take on the powerful enemies that await you at the end of the quest.
Also, it took 6
New
months to
limited
create
time
that
tasks
city,
and title
right?
tasks will be
Yep.
added that can be accomplished by completing
That's
this
Or
pathetic.
longer, actually, because we found out about it in
Don't miss your
January.
chance to get special scratch
That's
tickets
absolutely
and the
pathetic
title,
at this
Shadow,
point.
by accomplishing these tasks. Backed by popular demand, Sonic and Friends themed
I don't
objects
care
will
what
appear in
excuse
Central
or how
City this year
supposedly
too.
difficult it is to create a,
Keep your eye out for the new
create a
Shadow
high definition
objects.
area now. That is absolutely pathetic.
In addition, although not mentioned on the slide, we'll be giving away keyword gifts as part of the Sonic birthday campaign. Say the keyword in the in-game chat to get Star Gems, a Sonic Shoes-themed accessory, and more. The keywords will be announced at a later date on the official X account for PSO2. So if you're not yet following our official X account, now's the time to follow the account and check out our posts. There's something for everyone as we celebrate Sonic's birthday in a big way. The next ARKS records to be held during this period will be for the Trainia Narrow Cage Rank 2.
Speaking of, are
Be
there
on
no
your guard
no
and
new
use your
Trainia
best
in the
class as
city?
you take on the progressively more powerful
Looks like
enemies.
it's not a free roam area
Creative
after all.
Space will feature vintage look items and log cabin themed build parts that you'll recognize from PSO2 furnishings.
So I guess we're just done with the skill trees then.
These are sure to inspire some new
Pretty
builds.
much. I'm pretty sure that
So
the
buy
team
these
would
build
prefer
parts
that.
with your SG and add some woodsy charm to your creative and alliance spaces. Next is the new AC scratch ticket, Stylish Avenue. This time, we've got denim, dresses, and cropped hoodies to spice up your look. Don't forget to check out the scratch
At least
count
there's some
bonus
more
for
masculine
alternate
outfits
idol
for Wolf
and move
there.
versions of the Holding a Bouquet EX motion change item from the prize list. Those were the updates for early June.
Betcha, we're going to be celebrating
Now let's see what's coming in the
PSO2's
second half
birthday
of the
in
month with
July,
this
I
video.
believe. Alright. That sounds like Solus. Here comes round 2!
Ah, crap.
I mean, this is just so silly at this point.
It's not even acknowledging the story currently.
Now, this I think they're intending this to be like Interception, rank 2. Hey, DGVR, you're into the second half of the update right now. Okay, it sounds like I'm going to be able to leave the music up for this one.
So the question is, why are they collabing with an anime that's ancient?
I don't know.
Solus does not have a story now. At least they haven't announced it.
我が名はルルーシビ・ブリタニア。マリアンヌ公妃が長子にして帝国により捨てられし王子。
私は永遠の時を生きる魔女。
クルルギスザクです。よろしくお願いします。
親衛隊隊長光月カレン、ただいまをもって戦線に復帰しました。
Oh, that's going to be so annoying.
反撃の始まりだ。復帰しました。
君には無理だ。発艦。
You know players are going to spam those stamps just to be annoying.
Oh, yeah. I guess streamer mode could help with that. Or there might be a way to turn stamps off in the menu. I'm not sure. I mean, let's be honest, the players have been spamming ooh la la for a long time.
True, but it's also very, very remote as well. Oh gee, how amazing. Giant mutants, again.
Yep.
Not even new enemies.
Yeah, what's up with the city? Why are we forgetting it already halfway into the month?
But I think it was trash.
What did you think? Let's look at
Yeah.
a summary of the updates with some slides. Rank 2 is coming for Major Target Suppression Mission, Sign of the Planet Breaker. The malignant Dark Falls Solace that appears in this quest has been enhanced in every aspect compared to the version in Rank 1, making this an extremely difficult quest with spine-shattering attacks. To take it on, you'll need an even higher battle power. As in Rank 1, up to 4 players can fight together, and you will fail the quest if you exceed the time limit, or get incapacitated 5 times. You can accept this quest as many times as you like from the teleporter in the southwest section of Central Retum, so slap on your top gear, steel your heart for battle, and fight until you win. In addition, we'll be adding a title task in conjunction with this quest, and the target quest for the weekly task will change to Sign of the Planet Breaker Rank 2. In addition, we'll be running 2 ARKS records during this period. First, We have an ARKS records only for fighters at the Trainia, Buddy Attack, Rank 2. Use drones to explore the Trainia. We'll also hold an ARKS records for the limited time quest.
Also, where's that new
Special
combat
Training,
ability that
Sand
they
Road
were
Sprint.
they were showing off earlier?
Yeah, the giant fists or whatever
All
they
classes
were.
can take this one on. So come and take up
the
the gauntlet when you feel the need for speed.
AIS light thing.
Powerful support items are returning in SG Support Items Select June 2024. The lineup has been partially updated, with hot items like the Augment Capsules Haikvar Domina S and Mega Trial S coming back. Useful items are back again, including preservation items that will return the weapon or armor used as a material if enhanced preset skills fails. So strengthen the weapons and armor you have acquired and aim for even greater heights. In addition, NGS Season 33, the 33rd edition of the Mission Pass, will be released. By collecting a certain number of stars, which you earn by completing tasks, you can receive rewards commensurate with your level. In addition to the Goat Skull Helm, new stamps, and a new accessory based on the PSO2 unit Lee Circuhorn, as in previous years, the lineup also includes valuable items such as personal shop use, 3 days, and SG scratch ticket prize slips. Don't miss out. NGS is having a collab with the TV anime Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion, R2, starting after the scheduled maintenance on June 19th. Log in during the collab period to get acrylic stand-style build parts of Lelouch, C2, Suzaku, and Kallen as login bonuses. The AC Scratch Ticket Code Geass style will be available from June 19th. Keep an eye out for avatar items to dress up as Lelouch, C2, Suzaku, and Kallen, plus weapon camo and accessories that replicate the armaments of the Nightmare frames, as well as motion changes.
Yeah, this is a really disappointing back half
There will
of the
also
month.
be many collab items packed with features such as Shinkiro, Lancelot Albion, and
Also,
Gurren
where's
Seiken
Line Strike?
themed mag forms, stamps
That was
featuring the
supposed to be
collab
July.
visuals and build parts.
Okay.
The scratch count bonus for this ticket features the music disc Previous Notice. Be sure to check it out. From June 26th to July 3rd, giant
Once
mutants
again,
will
where it's a
appear
new
in the
combat
exploration
system
sectors of
that you
Central
were
and
talking
West
about, the
Kavaris.
AIS support
When
the
you
AIS
defeat enough of
the
the dread enemies that spawn near the special markers,
Yeah,
a
they,
rare
they showed it
Galacto
off in
Geo or
Vanford
Valmon
Labs.
Geo
It
will
wasn't in
appear.
the new city.
In addition, King Captain may also make an appearance, and there will be an additional limited time task that can be accomplished when encountered. So hang tough and keep slaying those dread enemies. Please note that the level of dread enemies appearing in the target sectors will be higher during this period. Also, some of the locations and types of dread enemies in the target sectors will be changed after this event. We'll also have an ARKS records during this period for the Trainia Quarterstaff Rank 2. Aim to quickly defeat the Ngoku with your favorite class. Although not shown in the movie, 2 Revival AC scratch tickets will be available from June 26th. Rewind Collection June 2024 re-releases a selection of past NGS spec AC scratch ticket prizes.
Betsagen, I would expect probably not.
Accessory Revival June 2024.
That would be
on the
very
other hand,
unusual
is
for them to
centered
drop
around
those,
popular past
since
accessories.
the new weapons seem to be coming from
You can also
from
get
the
items
city.
useful for enhancement as a scratch count bonus, including Lux Halfinale S. Get stacks of new items to try out in character creation.
Yeah,
That concludes
exactly.
the
Why
information
even
for
hunt them?
today.
It's a disappointing back half of the month.
Moving on to the next segment. NGS Operation Report. For this segment, the NGS Operation Report, I, Hiro Arai, select questions and comments from players to bring to the development and live operations teams and bring you their answers. I also have a letter from the developers to share with you. We'll start with the letter from the developers, a message from the dev team to the players. Allow me to read it to you.
So no Kimura then.
We would like to thank all the ARKs out there for continuing to play NGS. Moving forward, we will provide information on the intended implementation of updates introduced in this program and our plans for future improvements in the form of a letter
I'm watching
from
the viewer count just drop off.
First off, I would like to start with Nameless City exploration. We started the development of this quest aiming to have a well-balanced mix of elements, including both casual gameplay in an open field, like with exploration sectors and
Grind heavy,
combat
great.
sections,
Waste
and
our
more
time even more.
grind-heavy content like Lucille exploration. Therefore, unlike Lucille exploration and past limited-time quests, there's no matchmaking before the start of the quest. Players are free to jump in and out, like in exploration sectors.
Wait, what's
However,
the freaking time
there
limit?
is a time limit for exploring the field. By providing a goal for players to collect as many items as possible from chests within the set time, players get different results every time they play through.
Also,
Next
this
up
means
is the
they
new
are abandoning the
11-star
open
Iridium
world.
weapon series,
Yeah.
available in the Nameless City.
I mean, what's the
Aside
point of
from the
having such a
EX
short
augments
timer?
fixed
I mean,
when you acquire one,
let us run around for like an hour
its
or
baseline
two, or
performance is
something.
inferior to the 11-star Wingguard weapon
And also,
series
this is
already
likely a
available.
very static area
Instead,
as well.
Iridium
The
weapons
reason they
are
have the time
relatively
limit is
more
because they don't
accessible
want you
than
to actually
previous
properly
top rarity
explore the
weapons.
area. They don't
Plus,
want you
you
to
can
have
put
enough
them up
time
for
to actually
sale in your
realize that
personal
everything's the same
If you
all the
don't
time.
yet have a Wingguard weapon, snagging an Iridium weapon will be a big help in your battles. And if you do already have a Wingguard series weapon, you'll be able to transfer the powerful EX augments to your Wingguard weapon. As for the augment transfer feature, we weren't able to implement it sooner for a variety of reasons, despite having received many requests from players. But as we recognized this feature was necessary to realize the EX augment gameplay we wanted, we made the final push to deliver this functionality. Transfers require a rare dedicated item, the N Augment Transfer Pass. These are mainly available by obtaining titles related to forthcoming content and by collecting Transfer Pass vouchers rewarded for completing limited time tasks.
Seriously.
So like Master Cubes.
When you acquire an Iridium series
This
weapon,
is stupid.
it will
We already
have
are.
3
We
EX augments
we already
affixed
earned.
randomly out of over 20 potential types. When transferring these, the 3 types are fixed together as is. Therefore, we decided to implement a feature to transfer only EX augments to resolve the issue of players not being able to enhance their equipment until they get the ideal combination. Also, the Iridium series doesn't require a transfer pass for augment transfer, so it is easier to start by enhancing the Iridium series first and then performing an augment transfer using the Iridium series weapon when you get a stronger weapon.
Are any other future weapon series going to do it
That's
like
all
that,
for
or
the
no?
letter from the developers. Thank you for continuing to play NGS. That was the letter from the developers. Continuing on to the next section, I'll have answers from the development and live operations teams to player questions and comments. Here is the first one. With party members aligned horizontally in the current Urgent Quest Victory performance, it is difficult to see members at the back. Could you make them easier to see? Here is their answer. In response to this feedback, we plan to create a victory performance with a composition that clearly shows party members at the back for future urgent quests featuring a victory performance. That was their answer. Let's move on to the next question.
That one...
Do you have any plans to update the products in the treasure shop lineup? Many of the listed items don't seem to match the current game environment. Here is their answer. In order to better reflect the current state of augments, we plan to make an adjustment to the augment capsules listed in the treasure shop in a June update. Changes will include removing some augments from the current lineup and increasing the chances of high-demand LC capsules appearing. We will also be adding Defi-class capsules from P2 to P4, which should offer significant support in dual quests. That was their answer. Let's move on to the next question. The all-ship matchmaking implemented for Lucille Exploration is a great feature, even if it seemed to have some bugs at the beginning. Do you have plans to use it for other quests?
That one seems
Here is their
cherry-picked.
answer. We apologize for the inconvenience at the beginning, with the bugs and the unscheduled maintenance to address them.
It's also
As we have
necessary
received a
because
lot of
players are
positive
still
comments
dropping
on
off.
this feature and requests to make it available in other quests. We are looking
Yeah, I'm
into
gonna
the
mark
best
it.
way to proceed. That was their answer. It looks like implementing all-ship matchmaking for all quests is difficult as it involves a variety of tasks to support the specifications for each quest. But I'll give you an update in a future episode once we have a plan in place. That's all for our Q&A today. Moving forward, we will continue to select and bring your questions and feedback to the development and operations teams and share their answers with you. Please share your thoughts and opinions about this program and the game using the hashtag NGS Headline on X and other social media. Moving on to the next segment.
NGS Satellite Information.
Now let's move on from updates and talk about some other NGS-related info.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure it will get you even more hyped to play the game. Let's start with this. Beginning June 5th, the Gear Up Your Class special campaign will be held for Fighter and Gunner classes. A limited time task will be released for the renewed Fighter and Gunner classes, where you can raise the target class to your desired level and defeat enemies to earn commemorative plates that can be displayed in creative space. In addition, fantastic completion rewards will be available for training both classes. If you have not yet had a chance to experience Fighter or Gunner, this is a great opportunity to test them out. Starting June 12th, a campaign to support the enhancement of the Eridim series will be held. During the campaign period, acquiring augment and preset skills becomes more accessible, with significant discounts on the various Enmaseta required to enhance them. Once you've obtained an 11-star
I
Eridim
remember.
series weapon,
I
unleash its full
don't
potential
remember if
through
Canoe is a
enhancement.
fighter.
Here are some of the campaigns that will be held starting June 19th.
You gotta
During
remember,
the
we
item
don't really get
enhancement
to see
support
the character
campaign,
stats like
there
we
will
did
be
in base
a plus
PSO2.
5% success rate boost for
Right.
all equipment when affixing augments and enhancing preset skills. Additionally, there will be discounted prices on the various Enmaseta needed for enhancement. We encourage you to take this opportunity to
Yeah,
enhance your items.
that's a good point.
The
Gunner
Quest
really didn't get a
Conquer
balance
ST
change
Scratch
with this
Ticket
one.
Rush campaign allows you to get up to 2 special scratch tickets every day by completing any quest. Let's conquer quests and draw the special scratch like crazy. ARKS Cash Super Sale Summer Sale 2024 will be held from June 26th. The sale is different in every store, and you can make purchases to get the bonus once in each store. If you're interested, take a look at the shops to see what's on offer. And finally, here's the last announcement for this headline. July 4th marks the 12th anniversary since the PC version of PSO2 was launched in Japan. This is thanks to the many ARKs who have supported the PSO2 series over the years.
Now that's a bingo.
Thank you for playing. To express our gratitude, we are planning to hold a large campaign, the Super Fantasy Festival, to commemorate our 12th anniversary. We have prepared a super fantastic campaign, so please look forward to it. That's all for this episode of NGS Headline. We look forward to seeing more of your thoughts in response to future NGS Headline episodes. Feel free to share your opinions on the game, feedback on the program,
Messages of
and
support.
messages of support.
Sorry,
to the
I'm not
development
supporting.
and operations team. Don't forget to include hashtag NGS Headline and post it on X. As a representative of the users, I will continue to work with the development team to make NGS a more enjoyable game for everyone, and I look forward to your continued support. The next NGS Headline will be on Tuesday, June 25th. We'll be focusing mainly on the updates coming in July. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Now then, ARKS, I'll see you at the next NGS Headline.
Thanks for watching here on Friday night. I'll see you on next NGS Headline. Bye-bye.
All right. So, something to consider, at least in the back half of the month, there potentially could be partly a reason why they're not putting much into that, but at the same time, this is crap that they did it like this, and the reason would be the Elden Ring DLC.
At this point, if that's the case, then they're in even worse trouble than they'd ever imagine.
Yeah.
Because I would not be surprised to see the game's player numbers drop below 1,000 on the Steam charts.
Yeah. And then before the end of the month, you've also got Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail coming out. So this is bad. At least things were at least a little okay at the start, but yeah, the only thing they really got going for them is at least the Sonic limited time quest might be okay, given how it was last year. But yeah, at this point, I mean, the timer inside the new exploration area doesn't make any sense, and even if they kick the players out, players are going to go right back in, and those of us that are interested in the lore, we're just going to, remember where we left off, basically, and just go right back there, ignoring the quest completely.
Yeah, there is no roadmap update.
Yep, but we should still have access to our coordinates. So we'll see.
I think they were somewhere. They thought the new city was going to save them. I knew even if it was just a new region, in total, that it was not going to save the game. But this is worse than not having a region.
Yeah. And I got one more box I can mark off here. The Japanese stream was longer, specifically because they have a deal going on with Web Money right now.
Okay.
But yeah, nothing about an episode 2, nothing about a new opening animation. This was supposed to be the moment of hype. They basically said in-game, give us a year. Really, they got like 14 months. And this is all they have to show for it?
Well, there is that new PSO project coming out.
It may not actually be anything, because actually there is... Sega's doing, apparently Sega's doing a, I don't know if it's like a training camp or something else like that, but they're basically bringing non-Sega staff in for an event at the Sapporo office, and it might be related to that instead.
Okay.
So the rumor might be absolutely nothing.
And we're still missing content here. I mean, we didn't even get... There was no hint of that new combat system, and that's still irritating me.
Yep. Like, why even include that in what we saw in January?
And what if the whole reason they... What if they canceled it quietly and tried to hide it, sweep it under the rug?
It could be, but I mean, players can just simply go back to the old videos and, you know, guys like us, we're going to remember that was a thing. Yeah, it's maybe July, maybe August. I really don't know at this point.
At this point, they can't really afford to be really drip feeding this much. If they can't... I guess the only thing that's going to fix this is if the crash happens that I've been expecting. Right now, they can say, yeah, the player numbers are going down, but we're keeping a steady income stream. Except as the player numbers go down, when they will eventually reach a point of critical mass where the income stream just drops off a ledge. And that's... and at that point, they're going to have a hard time keeping the game around.
Yep. Oh, and actually, I do have one more box I can tick off here, but it's the one where I said there was going to be no new announcement of a Phantasy Star, so... Yep, that's how the card ended up here. Alright. Well, at this point, why don't we go ahead and jump into the rest of the news that we have for today here. Starting with... Actually, let me make sure I'm not covering up chat here. There we go. Phantasy Star Remix is now available on Spotify, Apple Music, and other music streaming services.
Yippee.
Yep. And then, following that, the Super Origin Festival commemorative item set is available right now. You have until June 4th on this. So for this, if you need to expand your character storage by 50, it's 600 AC. Honestly, just buy a new character. You're going to get a whole bunch more slots than that. unless you're actually at the maximum 30 characters already. And then third year rare drop rate set. I mean, if you want to try rare drop rate, even though it doesn't do much.
Yeah, it's never done much. It's something the players have been complaining for a while about. This is basically right now they can't afford to make rare drops not rare anymore, because at this point it's the only thing they have holding on to the actual players. If they give that up and make it easier to get the items they want, players are going to upgrade their characters in short order and then bail again.
Yep.
Unfortunately for them, that still backfires, because instead players caring about getting the weapons they want, they give up, and they actually just give up on the game.
Yep. And that would not be a good thing. I mean, it's the current situation right now. I mean, I still haven't gotten a Wingard.
Same here.
Moving on from that, so there was a note issue regarding the Cocoon Helical line, where performing a certain action allows players to proceed before the quest starts. And what they say here is, if through further investigation it's confirmed that this bug was used intentionally during an event such as ARKS Records, and they find significant impact from such abuse, the accounts implicated will be suspended without further notice or prior action. So, basically, don't cheat if you're in the middle of an event, Sega's saying here. Back on the 22nd, they basically took out the Urgent Quest Mining Rig Defense Kavaris, so I believe that's all of the mining rigs at this point that have been taken out, except for Retem.
Well, good riddance. I'm sorry, I just absolutely do not like the mining rigs, and I think they also know that most players are at this point. If they're doing the mining rig, they're basically just letting it just die. They're just they're just doing the easy clear. Easy AFK clear. Which makes it impossible for any new players who actually want to do it properly to actually play it, because everyone's just standing around letting everything die.
Yep. And players can't be reported for that if they start up their own private room and they're the only player in there. Moving on from that, we have the end of availability of the Argenti series weapons. So I guess the new series that they were talking about today is the catch-up weapon?
Possibly. They may just not have, they may have just not announced it.
Possibly, yeah. I guess we'll see soon enough here. Also, they have updated the level skip AC item. So it used to be your class would level up to level 80 as well as get equipment with it. With the update, they are removing the equipment and they are dropping the price from 1200 AC down to 900 AC.
Okay.
So, I guess we'll see what the plan is with the if there is going to be a new weapon series here. That's just give it out to players. There are super pre-announced urgent quests going on right now, and it's all Planet Crusher Assault up in Kavaris. And there's still a good number of them to go through this week here. So if you still need to get your title for getting 30 clears for the Master Cube, well, there you go. You're also earning 100,000 Enmeseti with each clearing of Urgent Quest Planet Crusher Assault as well. And with it, there's also the rare drop rate and drop item preset skill rate at plus 250%. And there's a change in the maintenance plan for this upcoming maintenance. Instead of 10 p.m. Eastern Time, it starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Should end at the typical 4, though. Alpine, we are rather upset with how things ended up here today. Alright, that's it for PSO2NGS updates. Let's move on to something else here. Moving on to Clementine. So, there have been a number of updates that have been ongoing here. If you haven't been playing on Clementine in the past month or so, they've been running they've basically been rerunning the series of custom quests that they had put out since the servers had relaunched. And now, basically, they are prepping for the launch of Ultimate Mode in Clementine. But before that, there were a lot of questions regarding Starlight, which was the private PSO2 server that they had announced. And they're still a long ways off with it, and frankly, we probably won't see it even release until Sega's official servers go down. But in the meantime, they did ask for help in with getting the server up and running, and so they put out the Starlight Helper application. I myself have put in for that. We will see if anything comes of it. If it does, I have several ideas that potentially could make it so that we could ignore that NGS ever happened. But we'll see. That's just my hope. I don't have any direct connection with the Starlight team right now, and I haven't heard anything back on that yet.
At this point, we just hope.
Yeah. Moving on from that. Protector's Kappa was available for a bit during the special redo of all the missions to prep for Ultimate, and then they had a small hotfix where players could join mid-mission, and then they've had several smaller patches happen, as well as an issue with the wiki. And then, after Protector's Kappa, they moved on to Oozing Chaos. With that, on Ultimate, the boxes contained DB Shield as well as /U weapons, along with ult materials. And then the wiki issues apparently continued for a bit there, and then eventually the server apparently came back. So we'll hopefully that was the end of all that. Okay, I am going to zoom this in if I can here. No, I'm losing the top there. We'll do that. We'll zoom it in as we read here. So basically, they decided they needed to make some adjustments to the rare drop rate, whereby instead of doing 100% rare drop rates, instead what they were doing was they were extending how long a 25% rare drop rate went for. So if you had a 50% rare drop rate, it was dropped to 25%, but it was extended to 2 hours. 75% was dropped to 25% and extended to 4 hours. And a 100% rare drop rate was dropped to 25% and extended to 6 hours. And they said that the goal wasn't to nerf drop rates, but to make playing the game feel better even without a booster running. And then they also added in weekly rotating boosts. So, for example, week 1 rare drop rate would be up for boxes. Week 2 experience, mission points, and photon art experience would be increased. Week 3 rare drop rate up for enemies, and week 4 Guardian's Cash and Meseta would be up.
How does the Guardian's Cash system currently work?
I'm not sure, to be honest, because I only have a character at level 130. I don't think I have access to the system yet. But Guardian's Cash, at least on the official servers back in the day, used to be what would let you into a special mission for gaining experience, and I think some rare drops as well. They've also got a new Knuckle photon art, the Baga Kityu, on the way. As well as some balance changes aimed at Phi Gunner. And they opened up a ult discussion in the Discord as well, specifically for Ultimate. Alright, and then next... looked like they had opened up applications for new mods on the moderation team. I don't think they announced anything specific to that. Who was actually accepted or not on that. They also added a PSU type advice form. And then they go into the changes for May, so let's actually get into that now here. So, the Road to Ult finale, players would be able to change the official mission, or challenge the official mission Protector's Mu at the colony's 5th floor special event counter. The mission would only be available on Ultimate difficulty. And this mission will run until Ultimate is ready to release. Then they go again into the rare drop changes. They also say rare drop rates in S4 have been increased by 50%. And Ultimate will have its own drops reviewed with the booster changes below. Rank C to S3 will eventually have their drops revised in a later update as well. And then they also say players can synth 2-hour, 3-hour, and 4-hour boosters using X amount of the 1-hour boosters.
Okay. So, so honestly, I've never understood. Do the boosters only turn off like they did in base PSO2, where if you're not in a quest, they only apply while you're in a quest? Or is that like NGS where it's running constantly?
I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever popped any of them, honestly, because I wanted to get to max level first before I ever popped any of them.
Okay.
I wish Xance was here. He would probably be able to answer that one. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any internet today. We already went into the weekly rotating boosts. Gold W badge shop. So they've adjusted the Gold W badge shop items to now just cost Meseta instead of having to use Gold W badges to synth them. They also added some more sub-weapons to the Gold W badge shop. They talk about adding in the new Knuckle PA, and then they go into a whole bunch of balance adjustments, which, if you're interested, they're all listed here. I'm not going to go through that entire list here. HP scaling, this was done a few updates ago, but wasn't announced on Rank C to S4 difficulties, the enemy HP is set to 80% during solo play and 100% for party play. I don't know if that adjusts automatically if you start solo and then you have other players join you. And then Mandarin, they're testing out a new bot, Chat AI, to be able to make unique announcements in-game. Not quite sure what that's all about.
I don't know either, but at the same time, it's a... I don't know. We'll just have to see what they're thinking with that one.
Yeah. Miscellaneous changes made improvements to server stability. They'll be adding... they'll be debugging this update to make more improvements. And then for bug fixes, they fixed an issue where players could soft lock trading for Stick Card at the Desert Arms shop. They corrected the Rainbow Baton Star, having an unintended status effect on it. They corrected the photon point values on Assassin's Dagger /U. Fixed bosses acting stupid from a previous change that were made. And added a potential fix to Klim Camp not resetting properly. Alright, and then they had a few more things here on the...
just acting stupid. I kind of wish I could see that. Sorry.
And anyway, on the Discord, they had a few more announcements here. They said that there's been an increase in the number of spam bots, so you know, do what you got to do with that, as you do everywhere else. And then they hosted a raffle on the 5th floor of the Guardians Colony back on the 16th. I was actually there for that raffle. And I was able to have a little interview with one of the members of the staff. You'll be seeing that, hopefully before the end of June, or rather portions of that, because I was really interested in what was the whole deal with Episode 3 of Phantasy Star Universe, and I was able to get some answers from them, and I'll be releasing that, like I said, hopefully before the end of June. And then they had to take the server down, brought it back up, and then there's a small patch live to fix an issue where Navals were breaking some enemy textures. Those are the smaller enemies that could be found on MoTube. Alright, moving from Clementine to Ephinia. So, they had an update on the servers back at the start of the month, May 5th. So apparently they had to update this slightly. Some of the scaling parameters were changed on A1 to A3, but as for the main portion of the update, the DLL of the game was updated with the following changes: fixed the broken muzzle particle and ejected bullet casings for the Ryanov weapons. And then when /cam is active, holding either shift key will speed up movement by 3 times. The comma and period keys can be used to strafe the camera left and right respectively. The ship server was also updated with the following changes. They fixed the possibility of the ship generating an invalid technique when generating a common item. They also fixed the possibility of tools being able to be equipped in character data when a desync occurs between client and server. They added fixes for so that invalid data is corrected when found. Lowered the number of anguish levels from 10 to 3. And additional checks for some invalid packets in specific quests. So what anguish levels were is they basically are ultimate mode turned up even higher. So it's interesting that they pulled it back from there being 10 levels of that down to 3. There was also a rule update made to the server terms of service, so there are no exceptions where using a macro bot or script to play the game will be allowed. So basically, if you're using something like XPatter, Joy2Key, or Anti-MicroX, you can use them, but make sure that you're not using the tools that allow you to put in more than one input at a time. And really, this appears to be aimed at mag feeding scripts, since mags are on like a 4-minute or so timer before you can feed them again. So, yeah, just...
Why would they... I don't know. Just wonder why they would feel it necessary to block that.
I'm not sure myself. I think it's just to prevent players from doing it while they're not actually attending the game. I mean, you can... It's not that hard to run a timer outside the game and then just, do the inputs. The only other thing I could think of for something like this would be if you had gotten runs, entire runs set up in a macro, whereby your movement is the same each time, and so enemies are always going to be in the same position, and so you can just keep running it over and over and over while you're not even attending the game. But I'm not sure if that's even possible to do that or not. Moving on from that, so there were some other things associated with the DLL update. So they fixed an issue with positive teching returning the user to the lobby. They added positive teching jingle. So, at least the way I take it is that now if there's if a techer increases what percentages you're going to get from a weapon that is unteched, then it's going to play some sort of sound effects. And then they fixed an issue with shock status not lowering enemy evasion when an enemy is shocked. In fact, the enemy's evasion would permanently increase when shock wears off. This is not a new bug, and it has existed since they added scaling of status duration to Anguish. The bug affected all difficulty modes, though, and they didn't even know the bug existed until the rollout of this DLL.
Positive teching jingle?
So that's when percentages increase over what the base would be. So like native beast or ultra beast, machine,
Okay,
or dark or hit percentage.
So this is basically just meant to make it easier to do what you were doing on stream a while back?
Yeah, well, not to make it easier, but more so that you hear a jingle or some sort of a sound to say, hey, this is better than base rate, essentially. But yeah, when I was doing PSOBB last weekend, yes, this is exactly what they're talking about here. Moving on from this, on May 16th, there was another maintenance that happened. For this, the ship binaries were updated, and teching now works more like the official server, meaning section IDs get their proper bonuses to specials, grinds, and percents, depending on weapon type being teched. Right now, it uses your own class bonus instead of techer that is visible. If we're supposed to use the leader section ID bonus instead, which would match the techer that is visible, then they'll fix that later. And then quest loading at the counter should be sped up considerably for a good number of people. Moving on from that, the DXVK team has finally addressed the issues with PSOBB, and thus a new version of the DXVK API DLL was placed on the patch server. But in an update, they say it looks like the PSOBB add-on plugin that is currently incompatible with the new DXVK, and they're looking into that. But what they say is after some quick testing, they can confirm that the issues with the solid panel switches, VR Dragon, Pioneer 2 scrolling text, etc., have all been resolved in the latest version, and everything appears to be fine even with NVIDIA graphics cards, not just AMD. And so the Vulkan API should now be a viable pick for users, especially those on the Steam Deck. But again, keep in mind what they say up here. And then there was one more maintenance that happened on the 28th. So server maintenance was completed. They fixed the problem with units inserted into armor from sometimes shuffling their positions around from what you originally set them as from the equip menu. They buffed the chance to get a good grind and photon attribute bonus from all techers. Redria's techer now has a preference for sabers and canes. Yoloboz's techer now has a preference for handguns and rods. And back-end changes were made to make it easier for staff to change some of the item announcement parameters. And then there were some other changes. So, for years, the teching bonus was the same across all classes with some random thing that was thrown together. They never really liked the code of it, and when they saw the correct parameter was figured out for how teching works with PSO, they decided they wanted to implement it properly. So this is going back to what was updated in the DLL. They should have communicated that this type of change was coming instead of just yanking the rug from beneath players. Seeing how things were supposed to work, the values they had were a bit absurd. Basically, it was a 55.5% chance for plus 10 and an 11.1% chance for anything else for photons. The specials were a flat 1 out of 3 chance, and there was no sort of section ID variation as there is supposed to be. They took away the ease of teching without giving anything in return, and thus today's changes will be the give to that take. Teching chances for receiving plus 10 for photon attribute boosts have been tripled, and the chances for receiving plus 5 have been increased by 50%. In regards to grind bonus, a similar story. Triple chance to get the plus 3, increase of 50% to the plus 2. Special chance has not been changed. And then previously with Affinia's old teching system, even things like sabers, canes, handguns, and rods were able to have a great chance to be boosted, but that was no longer the case after the change. Assigning them to Redria and Yoloboz, which have no assignment in vanilla PSO, should correct this. And the wiki page has already been updated with the new numbers. And they know there's also a suggestion of adding a new selection for best tech for 10,000 Meseta. They can't promise that that will happen, but they hope that this particular change today is better received.
So basically just skip, repeat. Well, I can actually see that being... So basically they are thinking of just making it possible for the players just to skip the RNG and just get the best grind.
That's
Actually,
what
I kind of wish they would do something similar for for some of the nonsense going on in NGS.
Yeah, I don't know if 10,000 is really the right number for it. It definitely would be appropriate for players that are early in their journey, but later on at like level 80 plus, I'd say putting it to like 100,000 would probably be better. So maybe the way to do that would be anything that's a special weapon, that would be 100,000, but anything that's not a special weapon drop, then that could be set to minimal, or rather to 10,000 Meseta. But I'm not running that server. That's Soda Boy that's running that. So I guess we'll see if anything ever comes of that. And then I believe that's it. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, the only other tab I had open was the roadmap from earlier for New Genesis. But yeah, we've already talked about that here today.
Yeah, where we basically hit the roadmap and we haven't got an updated one.
Yeah, I'll bring it up here briefly. So yeah, we know about the new field and the new story. They say story quests, which is, I don't know. Maybe in July they're gonna roll something more with story, but I doubt it.
I'm gonna be honest. Honestly, half the problem is if they aren't telling us everything, like that's going, like there's more coming in the update. They should have said. Half the problem is if they decide to hide something in an update, they don't tell you that there's more to this, but you're going to have to actually play. They don't tell you that. But they also, so that's one of their problems. But basically what we've learned with NGS is basically they only have what they show you in the headline. They don't hide anything in the headline with the update usually.
Yeah,
it's Alpine. It's the primary reason why we're frustrated is that we've been taught repeatedly that if they do bring something new without telling us, it's usually a tiny thing that doesn't matter, and it's the main reason why like if there is any major surprises, like if there's any real major surprises with this update. It'll be nice, but it would be nice if they told us that there is more than just what they're showing us. Because we also have been taught that Sega very much doesn't hide things in the headline. Usually if it's not in the headline, there's nothing new, then there's nothing hidden. And it's been this way since the very first.
Yeah. And I mean, I was hoping that after seeing this headline that I might actually be able to start resuming covering New Genesis a little bit more regularly, but I really don't know at this point. I've really got to see what's going to happen come next week with the launch of the next chapter of the story. Like if it's like a really tiny thing, I mean, maybe I'll spend a little bit of time looking around the new unnamed city after the story is over, but then I really don't know, because at this point, you know, I'm having fun going through the other games of the series again. I mean, we just last month we finished up Phantasy Star 2, a game that, you know, really I knocked that out in 3 streams. And you know, before that, Phantasy Star Universe Episode 2 got done this year as well. So I'm like, I'm kind of liking the progression I'm getting finally with the older games, but at the same time, I know that, you know, subscribers on this channel have not moved an inch since, like, the start of the year. So I gotta, like, figure something out here.
Well, honestly, New Genesis, I don't think it's going to get you those subscribers. I think a lot of VTubers who threw their lot in with NGS are right now side-eyeing Sega. they're being the cheerleading squad, but they're also having a hard time actually validating their continuing support of the game.
Yeah, I know we saw right before the stream started here that Papona was doing a stream as well. I haven't looked in on that since before the show started, but it's yeah.
Well, Papona is a Sega sanctioned live streamer.
Yep. I don't know. I the way things are going, and you know, I'll always have my love for Phantasy Star, but I mean, at the rate that this is going with New Genesis, I mean, if the new city doesn't impress quickly, then yeah, we're gonna lose a good portion of the rest of the players, and frankly, at that point, the game is. I would not be surprised if players start questioning whether this game is better or worse than Phantasy Star 3 Generations of Doom. I said it right there. And frankly, you know, players that have played Phantasy Star Gaiden have an argument for their own game. This series has seen very low points in the past. But New Genesis is really getting down there at this point. If this new city does not impress,
and I'm going to emphasize the whole reason why we are suspicious is because NGS has not failed to impress before. This new region was the big thing that we were waiting for. The new story was a big thing. We don't see any acknowledgement of Solus. We don't see any acknowledgement of Dalian. We don't see a new Falls coming along. It makes us suspicious that there's not much to this new city. That our new story just gets us into the region, and then that's it.
Yep. And frankly, you know, I don't trust the words Zafeto has said anymore. There's just too much going on that does not make sense here. The dolls don't attack the Starless. There are fish outside the barriers for the region that are living out there. And, you know, you think Solus and Dalian, you take the first two letters, and this is not mine. This was somebody else's. You take the first two letters, Solus, S-O, Dalian, D-A, that's the start of So Damn right there. And, you know, I'm thinking to myself, you have, and this is mine. I'm thinking we have the themes of being on a stage alone and puppetry. Is it possible that the M in that is related to monologuing? And who do we know has monologued to us before? Zafeto. I don't know. Well, but again, that's me diving into lore again. That's just, if I had the energy to do a Secrets of New Genesis, I would have put that in there. And I don't know.
Base did not. Base did not. Base had story droughts, but it did not have droughts this bad.
Yeah. No, this is really bad. So, I don't know. What I will say is when, at the end of next month, their Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail is going to be launching, and I do intend to cover the start of that. But depending on how things go here with New Genesis, I mean, I might actually start looking towards maybe distancing a little bit from Phantasy Star to other content again, because this is... look, the last time I did this, I made a whole thing out of it, of my old V4 system, and a crash happening, but I'm just telling you straight up this time, this is where my head is at this point here.
I can't blame you at this point either. But at this, I'm going to have just one warning to Sega. If the fans fix your game for you, they will never. You will have the worst time in. If you basically have what's going on with the Sonic fandom, basically continuously competing with your official team in terms of quality in their fan games, and that starts happening with Phantasy Star, you're done. Because it's very clear that your current team at Sapporo can't even come close to matching. I mean, you saw all those updates from the unofficial servers. They're doing a better job than Sega is.
Yeah, this frankly is just ridiculous at this point, and I'm kind of like, I want to stall for time here just a small bit, because I'm trying to pull something up now here, and you know, this is gonna look a little weird because I was gonna do this originally. I was originally gonna reveal this in the show coming up next week, but you're gonna see this now if you haven't seen me in game since. Let me do this. I gotta save it.
I also, a lot of you hear me being negative up to the game here. That's because I'm game. Some of my other friends who play this game with me know that I'm desperate for this game to improve. I want the game to get better. I have a friend who's not playing, who used to play the game all the time with me. They're not doing it anymore because NGS has basically killed their joy of the game.
So, here's one image. And then, let me get another up here. One second here. Sorry, I gotta find the right spot here. Okay, here we go. You guys don't have any context for this yet. But let's just say things are in the works here for me to potentially see if I can maybe add something to NGS. This is not official, this is not sanctioned in any way. And I don't know if I'm going to go through with this in the end. But this is where my head is at this point here. And I wish this was not necessary.
It looked like they were going for a more detailed world before and a more detailed story. We have all these areas around Aleo that look like they could have been places where NPCs could have been placed. that you could have talked to Guy and Quest from, Guy and story pieces from. Heck, there was other stuff that had come up that never made it into the game. And It's just, at this point, I don't know where the leadership of this game's head is. Because what they've been doing is they've been pulling back so much on the story that they've been pulling back so much on what the content that the players need that all I can think is that doing it for cost cutting when right now they can't afford, they're still not going to be able to afford that. If they want to save money, if they're saving money at this, try to save this much money, this is going to destroy the game, and the players are not going to come back. They're burning so much goodwill that I don't think the players are going to trust it. Even if they do start the process of fixing the game, they're going to have such a hard time getting the players back again after this.
Yep, definitely. One more for you here. So, make of these images what you will. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to go through with this or not. We'll see. As I said, I may also just cancel this and just look elsewhere to other series out there. At least, until NGS shapes up, if it ever does.
I have also been noticing that your non-NGS streams have been getting a lot more attention than the others now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I'm not trying to be a doomsayer or anything like that. This is just the reality of the situation here.
I know a lot of players out there say, look at all these people saying they're having fun and such. And I'm going, all the players that we used to have gone elsewhere. NGS isn't even on their mind anymore. We used to have, Radix. Radix was part of our alliance. He was a major part. He combined his alliance into Time for War. And he just swore off NGS. He swore off any game else that's like it. He's never coming back. This isn't just a case of churning of players because they leave and come back. This is a case that players are permanently leaving because the game just isn't shaping up to where it needs to be. Everyone is saying this was a strong headline. I don't know where you're seeing it, because I'm not going to assume that what we're seeing here is there's anything more to this than what we're seeing, because every time I've done that, Sega has severely disappointed me. That's why.
Yeah, we got the new city, but then it's like they immediately abandoned it in the second half of the month.
Calm. It's the people who really like this game, who are extreme defenders of this game, are heavily into the screenshot goofiness, unfortunately. The whole fashion and everything, that is one of the biggest things strangling the game. And the stupid thing is, everyone's saying, oh, it'll just survive off the fashion. It'll just survive off the appearance scratches. No, it won't. There is so much out there that does the job better than NGS. The social gameplay. Ever heard of VR chat? That does its job better. Does the job better than NGS. And you're not limited to what the developers give you. You can get your own model made and import it into the game. Same deal with something like V-Roid Studio. Does everything NGS does in terms of fashion and such. In fact, it's one I've seen. In fact, Radix showed me that. He used it for his own VTuber model. It can be used for more than just for a single game.
And there are also several stages of Phantasy Star Online and Phantasy Star Online 2 built into VR chat as well. So you don't even have to use this game to go there.
And then there's like the screenshot stuff. Same deal with VR chat. And I mean, last night, Wolf showed me another game that can even be used for it. I'm not naming it because it's R18, but it's still there. Someone had actually made a working Zephetto model in it. Right now, the game is coasting off of players being afraid of losing what they've saved up in the game, their time, and such. But the problem is, Phantasy Star players are used to losing that already. The long-term old players are used to losing their characters with each iteration already. Simply because that's how Sega has run this game. The new players who have never lost their characters due to a game update, to a new game release, they're in for a rude awakening when Sega finally decides to move on. What Sega did with NGS here was a shocker, really. Sega has never tried to preserve players' character data into the next generation.
Yep. And with the way things are at this point, I mean, who knows if things are going to survive into the next one.
I want to hold on to it. Half the reason they wanted to incorporate NGS into PSO2 was so that they could hold on to the license of older collab content, and that was really it. NGS started life as Phantasy Star Online 3. Sega had even bought the domain name for it. When Phantasy Star Online 3 does come out, or whatever it's called, this next generation game, expect NGS to die and your characters to go with it.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with that. Whether it be Phantasy Star Online 3 or Phantasy Star 5 or Universe 2 or whatever they decide to call it. Just be ready to lose your characters. Have to start all over again and not have your fashion items transfer. And that includes, the stuff that you paid AC or SG for. I'm going to put up one more image. Again, we'll see if anything comes of this. But, yeah. I don't think there's anything else that we can say at this point. I think we're ready to close this out, unless you have something else you want to say.
That's it.
All right. And in that case, that brings us to the end of this episode. On behalf of Rooks and myself, thank you for joining us today. Day has dawned. Have a great day, everyone.
Have a good day.